President Biden sold us the American Rescue Plan as a chance to help those in need during the pandemic. But it turns out $15 million from the plan actually went to the Institute of Museum and Library Services and funded social activist programs for your kids.
The details are unbelievable. Joining us live, Georgia Congressman Jody Hice. Congressman, let's get to some of those details. This money was supposed to be used for pandemic purposes, and we find out that $33,000 was given to Northwest Mississippi Community College to create campus safe spaces for students. Over $43,000 given to Minneapolis Institute of Arts to incorporate greater cultural fluency into their tours using an anti-racist lens, and $50,000 to Whitaker Center for Science and Arts to offer, quote, equity, diversity, and inclusion-focused STEM programs for pre-K through 12th grade students. This is taxpayer money, and people were told these funds were going to be critical to rescuing people during the pandemic. How do you explain this?
Well, there is no explanation. The only explanation is that this administration and this radical Democratic Party are willing to use the hard-earned tax dollars of American citizens in order to push their radical agenda. And we are watching this. As you mentioned, these funds were intended to help recover from COVID, and yet they are being used for woke agenda and to push that agenda on as young as third graders. I mean, this is absolutely wrong.
Same church, different pew type thing. You and Congressman Andrew Clyde sending a letter to the University of Georgia calling for action to make sure that their website is not used to target crisis pregnancy centers. It appears some college professors there created a map of pregnancy centers, and I have a question for you. Why? Why would these professors create a map like this if for no other reason than to facilitate harassment?
Yeah, you're spot on. That's exactly the only reason. This is nothing but a couple of professors who are pro-abortionist trying to masquerade their map as some sort of academic research. But what this amounts to is a hit list, giving pregnancy resource centers, crisis pregnancy centers across the country to all sorts of radical groups. And look, we've already seen dozens of these pregnancy centers firebombed, vandalized, and they are getting this information, locating the places by this map brought out by the University of Georgia. So we're asking for this to be taken down, for the university to express responsibility as it relates to potentially aiding violent behavior across the country.
There's also the Georgia governor's race, and Stacey Abrams' leadership PAC is apparently being bankrolled by mega donors like George Soros and a lot of Hollywood A-listers as well. So there's a recent filing from One Georgia Incorporated. It showed a total of $8.4 million in outside donations. Billionaire George Soros' Democracy PAC sent $2.5 million, and Hollywood superstars like Steven Spielberg, Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hanks and his wife all sent donations as well. How do you feel about this, and how worried are you that this could turn the tide in the governor's race?
Well, you know, certainly this is something that's raising a great deal of concern. We got, again, radical left-wing Hollywood-type mega donors who are trying to bring the failed Democratic policies in Washington, D.C. to Georgia. They believe Georgia is in play. And look, this is wrong. This is something that the people of Georgia need to decide who's going to lead our state. And for the left to take these type of tactics, I believe, number one, is not right. This needs to be left to the people of Georgia. But secondly, I don't believe it's going to succeed. I believe the people of Georgia and America are seeing the results of the failures of the Democratic policies, and they're not going to accept it.
Yeah. Let the people of Georgia decide who they want as their governor. Don't let Hollywood dictate it to you.
Sounds reasonable.
Congressman Jody Hice, we appreciate you. Thanks, sir, for being on.